Week 10 is always a fun week because there's so many different types of games, especially this one here where you have two teams who are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. As the 3-5 Titans look to go up against the 3-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Winner of this game keeps their playoff hopes alive, especially to the Titans who need it in a super deep AFC, especially as they have found their quarterback of the future, so it seems, with Will Levis, who dominated my Falcons in his first ever start. A lot of rookie quarterbacks seem to be playing well against my Falcons. I don't know how I feel about that. But we did dominate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a 16-13 matchup a few weeks ago. And the Buccaneers were an amazing game in Week 9 where they just fell short to the Houston Texans here. But in general, though, good overall performance offensively. Defensively, this is going to be one of the things that we have to talk about here for Tampa Bay. But I want to throw it over to you here first, Ryan, because Week 10, both teams are 3-5. I feel like they're both kind of about where we had expected at this point of the year. Maybe you can argue maybe a little bit better than the record that we predicted, but we knew they could potentially – things went the right way. And with Tennessee, it almost seems like there's momentum, like in building up, like there's hope. While in Tampa Bay, it seems like they're hanging on like for one final, for their final grasp. Like, okay, like we need to somehow like figure this out. What are your overall thoughts? Do you have similar thoughts when it comes to this game as well?
Kind of. I think Tampa Bay actually still on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they're coming off of a 37-point offensive performance against the Houston Texans, who, again, don't have the greatest defense. But with that being said, the defense gave up 39 points in that matchup. So definitely something to be concerned about. But for me, I know Will Levis is like everyone wants to talk about Will Levis, but the matchup for me is these Tampa Bay wide receivers against the Tennessee secondary, because this Tennessee secondary is not very good. The front seven is really the front four is kind of the heart and soul of this defense. They do a really good job of stopping the run. And I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield to make plays just because I don't see them having a lot of success running the football.
Yeah.
And if Baker Mayfield can make plays, I think then Tampa Bay will come out ahead. And if he struggles to make plays and turns the ball over or even just has spells of inaccuracy and a lot of incomplete passes, then I think that favors the Titans, who are going to want to try to win the lower scoring, kind of grinded out type of matchups. So
no, it's a very unique matchup with both these teams here, because the Buccaneers comparatively are able to kind of spread it out. They have multiple different weapons with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin as well. Kate Otten also as their tight end. Then you have Rachaad White also. While the Titans want to keep everything inside the numbers, they just want to run it. They just want to run over you, especially now too with what Will Levis brings. But at the same time, though, Will Levis does add a different extra dimension, I think, to this offense. Something that they haven't seen, really in a long time. Even going back to before Marcus Mariota, because Marcus Mariota wasn't really a gunslinger either. But Levis can just flick it and just throw the ball outside the numbers to DeAndre Hopkins. But I want to go back. Baker Mayfield, I think, is an interesting one because I feel like he just doesn't have that like X factor. It seems like, because he's had a good season overall so far this year, 65% completion percentage, just shy of 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, with an overall rating of 92.7 so far this season. And he's had decent performances over his past couple of games. And so, unfortunately, they went on. They're on is that a 4? Yeah, that is a 4-game losing streak right now. So just trying to figure out just how to get consistent. I think that's the biggest bugaboo for them. This is where I think the Titans can take advantage of it. Buccaneers offensive line outside of Tristan Wirfs is young and inexperienced and just overall just not that great. I think they're kind of rebuilding that area. And it's really going to hinder them in Baker Mayfield and then Rachaad White as well, who's the running back there from, I think, probably performing to their best, giving them time. I feel. So that's going to be the matchup for me to watch, is because Tennessee Titans have always come with a great defensive front package and get after guys, while Minnesota is going to need that time to develop. Maybe we'll have to bring guys in, which is going to take away other options that Baker Mayfield could throw to exploit this.
You mean Tampa Bay?
Sorry. Yes. My bad. What did I say?
Minnesota.
Sorry. My bad. I'm still.
I was very confused.
Yeah. I'm still hurting from our loss this past week, so Buccaneers fans can make fun of me. But anyways, Tampa Bay should try to exploit this weaker secondary in Tennessee, but what keeps them from constantly losing every single game from this week's secondary is this defensive front and what Mike Vrabel is able to bring to the table. So that's going to be interesting. Now, on the flip side, Will Levis allows Tennessee it brings that play action into like a much more serious effect. And they went up against a good Pittsburgh Steelers defense this past week on Thursday Night Football. It was a close game. I thought the team overall played well, especially offensively. Levis obviously was going to have a little bit of a regression, short week on the road, going up against one of the tougher defensive lines in the league. But against this defense, who is nowhere near as tough, and I think is so at best. Actually, I would say I'm looking up passing yards here that they have allowed. Tampa Bay is fourth in passing yards allowed on the season, so they also are struggling a little bit in the passing game as well. I think that could be something that they could really exploit with how powerful Derrick Henry is. I think it opens up. They can't put as many guys in the box on the defensive side. Opens up the running lanes, allows for that play action to open up. Will Levis has a dangerous pump fake, as we saw him do against Falcons several times. So I think it can be a good matchup for Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, no, I do too. So let's go ahead and get into our predictions for this matchup. Before we do that, if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And yeah, it's the best way to help out the channel. And sorry, I almost did the outro. Yeah, it's the best way to help out the channel, and you'll get notified when we create new content. And with that being said, Tyler, who do you have coming out ahead in this matchup?
So I was going back and forth, and I think this might have been a little bit of a segue, like on how I finished it, but I think I am going to go with Tennessee. I feel like they just have that momentum. Levis is the guy now. I think writing's on the wall. I was just up in Nashville visiting some old friends, and they were talking about how much they like seeing Levis. I think he's the guy here. I think it's just time just to move on, give him the reins, and he does bring that throwing capability, something that they have not seen with Tannehill. Tannehill, I think, fit great within the system when they had a good offensive line and Derrick Henry was in his prime. And then you still had A.J. Brown, and then you had, who was that other guy? They had the other receiver, Corey Davis as well. There's a good just tandem. Guys had to respect those receivers. Now Tannehill was past his prime. Henry's past his prime. Offensive line is decimated, and they're starting to retool that. But now Levis, though, is like with his cannon, how he can control that offense. You have to respect the passing game now, and that's going to open up the running lanes for Tennessee. I just have a feeling that Tennessee is going to be able to have a very well-balanced offense, and Will Levis is going to come down and score another victory. Also, I need the Buccaneers to lose for my Falcons as well. So I'll go with that, and I'll go with my former residence in Nashville. So Tennessee's going to win.
I'm also going to go with the kid. I just think when it comes to being able to make a play, I trust this Mike Vrabel defense and Derrick Henry and Will Levis. I think maybe just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Some of that might be just we've only seen Will Levis in 2 games, and so I still think we don't really know a lot about him. So maybe I'm erring on the side of optimism there. But I just think they're the better team. I think Will Levis probably learned a lot going against Pittsburgh last week in his first loss in the NFL, but also a road loss, just on like kind of how to manage that, all the emotions and whatnot. So I'm also going to go with Tennessee. I think they get the job done. I think this will be a pretty low scoring game, probably 20 to like 16, 14, 16 in that area, 17.
Sounds good.
So
I like it.
So, yeah. But we're both going with the Titans here. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Is it going to be the Tennessee Titans or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.